talk about kind of strange topic. I come across it all the time, but I think the advantage I have is that I was kind of yanked out of Iran at the end of Shah's time, and like just completely thrown at completely a different culture. It was like a culture shock, plus got my ass kicked. So I kind of like have no choice but see that some cultures, some beliefs people have, that's that's totally false. That it doesn't exist, or it has no relevance, and but the people they keep going around, and they become cults, or like a subculture, or it generates income for some artists, and but it's like a disease, a social disease that some people have it, or like there are religions that nobody knows why is there such a religion, why is there such a belief, but there are memes, and anyhow, I was doing taxi driving in Laguna Beach, and I picked up this customer, and it was a guy that was a producer for all these little artists, like a song writer or singer, whatever. And then I told him my son, he sings rap. I didn't know he had become famous or had hits or whatever. Later on, he told me that, hey, I went throughout California, I had all these what they call as had all these appearances, and that was rap artist. And the guy, he knew my son, and he gave me his card. He said that he kind of noticed that I have a low opinion of him, and he said that there are very good artists. He mentioned a few, and he said, but and they also got very nice awards. They sold millions of records, but nobody wants to hear anything new from them, because it's just like the old one. And but somebody like him, like your son, he's got new material, new music. Then yeah, there is a chance that it's gonna hit big. And this is my card. I wanna hear from him. And then I gave the card to my son. He knew this producer, but it just brings into a focus a topic that cultures, they become a form of addiction, and people believe in them, or they act them out, even though the underlying economic forces and what gave rise to this culture, it doesn't exist anymore. It is like in the 50s or 60s, but then it becomes toxic too, or a form of addiction. And when the new generation comes in and says, hey, I have two choices. I could do things with the new technology and pay nothing, or I have a choice and go to these guys and get that Harvard degree and sign up with the same record company Madonna signed up for before. My upstart expenses will be just a few $1 million, and I have an interest in this topic, the topic of like deprogramming from toxic cultures, or cultures that do not exist, and there is no reason for them to be there. And they cost money and create animosity or problems when you could do things differently. And like there is a Sufi practice, it talks about like living in every moment of your life at the moment, what it calls for, what your life, the circumstances that are now. Forget about the past or what might happen in the future, or what is now is the most valuable thing. And then I think that quantum physics shows that the reason for the universe is that it wants to experience itself, experience now. It doesn't want its history because it has as much history that you can even imagine. And it doesn't want the future because it's not here, it's not relevant. It wants now because when you experience now and you're a conscious being, then you give meaning to the universe, because the universe can experience itself and now. I don't know why this is true. I've seen these ideas in other quantum physicists' lectures, but this is relevant. And also, when you live in the moment, in now, then you are the one that's creating the new culture, new civilization, new ideas, new music, and then other people, they do want to hear this because it's the new thing. It's not something dead or something historical. It is meaningful because it came from now, the world as is. Then another concept is you know how they say, be careful what you wish for, you just might get it. So when the Sufi master said that درخت آرزو را ریشه کن کن, which means take the young tree of desire or the plans for the future and this and that, and pull it out by the root and dispose of it. This means like these plans and these dreams and these ideas that you're trying to go there, you don't know if this was constructed, if it came into reality, the reality was this, then you would not be able to live there, or you would not be able to tolerate it yourself. For example, when you listen to the American politicians, they are so definitive. I just want to quote you one that Trump was saying, okay, if the sanctions on North Korea, they don't work, the next step would be very tough. Like, we're gonna nuke you. Then what will happen next? This is like a plan or algorithm for the future, and then what do you think is gonna happen next? Or they're gonna nuke you back, and then how he's gonna be? Is he gonna be some molecules like floating around? Is he himself personally, would he be alive? Would he be still president? Or would like Washington DC get nuked along with a few other cities, and then United States would stop doing this stuff? Like, you gotta kind of look at where you want to go and ask yourself, if I went there and I was there now, then what? Now what? Then would I be able to live there? Would this be a future that I want? The deprogramming is going to become like really important because technologically it becomes feasible, like as if you're living in Star Trek Next Generation. It becomes feasible and almost free to manufacture or do anything. Okay, so what people will do is pursue these stupid ideas, these stupid desires that result in destruction, other people getting killed, or they'll be playing these algorithms of the past, these old songs and old philosophies, racism. They will come like in a sequence. Society will become, have deja vu with them. They'll have somebody like Hitler, and then they get rid of him again. They'll have somebody like I don't know, communist, and then yeah. But these are all culture. These are algorithms, and they are not real. They are not. They're something historical. Then because technology gets to a certain level, okay, you can't really live in this technological society if you have not grown spiritually. Like for example, I talked about this in another video. If you acquire many psychic or spiritual talents that, like say, Jesus had, or very good medium has, okay, or you acquire technologies that are outrageous. Say you acquire technology that you could travel in time, or you could jump from location to location instantaneously, right? But this technology, this outrageous technology, or these skills that are outrageous, they are spiritual. Only like we read in history, like Jesus or Imam Ali had these special abilities, right? You will not be able to continue and live in society, and you will self-destruct because you did not grow spiritually. You don't have that connection. Or the Persians have a really funny joke or expression. It says, oh, what will happen if the cat acquired a real nice pair of wings? It could fly away. Would we have any pigeons left? I mean, so this is like an omen of a lot of disasters that are going to happen in the future. Like if you look at the history of life on planet Earth, you see that 99% of the species have come in and they have disappeared because the environment constantly changed. The change didn't have to happen for a reason. It was simply a change sometimes. But this animal was built or evolved to adapt to a certain culture, certain environment, certain kind of food or prey. And then when those things change, and these changes are sometimes often gradual, but sometimes they're not, they're like abrupt, then this animal, it doesn't belong to this new environment, doesn't belong to its epoch or its own timeline. It has to become extinct. Same thing happens to humans. They grow up and there is like a flourishing economy, or there is a central bank. It publishes all this money and gives it to them and babies them and pampers them. All kinds of industries and cultures and attitudes evolve. But then when something happens to this, then it's like a river that was there and was sustaining all these crap. the river suddenly dries up, and then where you're gonna have these organisms that is so addicted to this culture, to this way of doing things, that even if you brought food, uh, even if you brought prey that it could easily overcome and use as food, uh, sometimes it would miss it uh, because it's addicted to the past, to the former kind of prey, former kind of food. I see a lot of that. I think once the economy, the way it is, collapses or is rejected, then like people are gonna be in a very very tough situation, or there will be like a huge culture shock. It's like unbelievable. Like I've seen similar to this kind of culture shock or changes that are people have very hard time adjusting to. Is that after the Shah was overthrown, in his time there was a lot of like class distinction, and if you were like attached to the darbar, you were so favored because they knew that the Shah, hand you over all these benefits and crap, and the other guys, like yours truly included, they're like kind of the underclass. But then when he was overthrown, the first thing that happened is that he, though that class, they lost credibility. People were not looking at him. But for many years, I go to places that were Iranian owned. Here, they're still making plans. Okay, yeah, we're gonna go to Iran. In about 6 months, we're gonna overthrow the Iranian government, and we're gonna do things our way. Or we're gonna bring the new Shah, and I always thought that these guys were so cute, because there is no chance that in a million years the Shah or cohorts will come back. The very best that they could hope for is become another ISIS. But hey, they were Iranian. I usually have a little respect. Well, the deprogramming, helping people get over these subcultures of it might become something very valuable in the future, that hey, you don't need like a white guy is running this bank and doing all this stuff, because you don't need them. Right now there are computer programs or algorithms or decentralized ledger that can do all the stuff that this supposedly fantastic guy can do without any fraud or mismanagement. So why do you need him? So wouldn't you in the future you might find like companies that instead of this white guy, there's like this little black chick. She's got such a mystique about her. Everybody is looking up to her like she's Madonna, and she's the one who's actually running the company, owns most of it, or hires people. The culture, I think, will change tremendously, and the people who are actually the creators of wealth, people who actually are the talent, are the people who change things or move things around. They will come forward, because the technological lag or money lag that was dominant in the past, and this class of bourgeoisie was able to tap into it, is gone. An artist like me, what I have is like a camera and I got my hand